You're watching the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14.
Right now at 7, Hope City Church is spreading holiday cheer this year by eliminating medical debt for area families.
Also, children in Cherryville had the opportunity to explore the candy cane forest for gifts just in time for Christmas.
Plus, we're still tracking some hefty winds this morning. I'll tell you how long that'll last and more coming up.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Well, good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. I'm Elise Snowy.
And I'm Chloe Arroyo, 7 o'clock on this Wednesday morning.
Yeah, it's Wednesday, which means we are a week away from Christmas. I can't believe it. And then that means 2 weeks away from 2025 as well. This year just flew by.
It really
so
did.
Fast.
Went by so fast. I really can't believe it. I didn't really think about that until you just told me.
Yeah, it's right around the corner.
That really just set in for me. Wow. 2025 is almost here.
Well, something that's not going to be here for some folks around the area is their medical debt. Now we're learning more about the effort by Hope City Church to help hundreds of area families with their medical debt.
KOAM's Melissa Alexis spoke to church staff about how it all came to be.
Goes beyond these walls. It is not just about Hope City.
Every year before Christmas, Hope City Church in Joplin makes an investment into the community. And this year, they donated money to relieve thousands of people of their medical debt.
It is something that weighs heavy on families, and when something like medical debt is so just impacting your family, it just starts to ooze out in different ways of stressors. And so something that's just constantly looming, those are the things that keep us awake at night when we're wondering, how are we going to take care of this?
She says the church coming together as a community is what made this all possible.
If you were to walk in here on a Sunday morning, you're going to get to just see the heart of our people from the moment that you enter our parking lot.
The church is supposed to be about the people in the community that it represents. And so we want to make sure that the folks in the Joplin area and the 4-state area know that our heart and our hope is that we would be a blessing to those around us.
Through the church's budget and donations from the community, they were able to eliminate $4.2 million of medical debt for 3,200 people in Southwest Missouri and Northwest Arkansas.
We have folks in our own church family who have been burdened with medical debt, and even the conversations we've had with them is just going, man, a lot of folks don't know what it's like to feel the weight of that.
Hearing stories from families who are having to pick and choose between certain financial things. We know families who have even had to sell their home, sell everything in their home so that they can try to manage their finances better.
Letters will be sent out in the coming weeks to notify families that their medical debt will be taken care of.
Hey, this life is not just about me anymore. It is about those around me.
Reporting in Joplin, Melissa Alexis, KOAM News.
Well, Hope City Church partnered with an organization that helps negotiate medical debt of some people who most need help in the community.
You know, no matter how big or small, a random act of kindness just like that is an incredible, that's a big act of kindness right there. Huge, but it's just so inspiring to see.
Absolutely. It's the season of giving, and with that, I mean, it does come those stressors with holidays and buying gifts and different things like that. To relieve that medical debt, I'm sure is going to change lots of people's lives in the area.
Changing lots of people's lives indeed. That's just so inspiring to see. You know, speaking of this time of year, around Christmas, we usually see colder temperatures. Yes. We don't always see a white Christmas, which is something a lot of folks would like to see. I hate to say it, but we're not going to see that this year either. In fact, we're going to see some warmer temperatures this year for Christmas, and we already have for the month of December, very above average. Except for this morning, we're pretty seasonable. We're right on track with our temperatures this morning. It's also feeling a whole lot colder than it actually is with those winds. So here's a look at that on radar right now. We've got our current winds anywhere from 10 to 15 miles per hour right now, so really beginning to ramp up. It's a windy start to our morning. We also have wind gusts upwards of 30 miles per hour, so we're really continuing to track that as well. So those winds continuing to increase before we see a decrease from lunchtime and beyond. This is around 11:30 today. We'll still see those wind gusts upwards of 20 miles per hour before they calm down later on this afternoon. Now our temperatures are still going to be on the cooling trend as this cold front pushes pushes further south, our temperatures are in the 40s and some folks starting to break that 30-degree mark. Neosho still at 39. Joplin just now becoming 39 degrees, was 41 just for a while, a little bit ago, even just a few moments ago. And on the back end of that, we've got temperatures in the mid to lower 30s. So still getting much chillier, but our feel-like temperatures a whole lot colder than our actual temperatures. It's going to feel like over the next hour or two, going to feel like the teens in Yates Center and Iola. So really our further northwestern counties are going to start to see those cooler temperatures. And even this afternoon, expect temperatures to feel like 20 to 30 degrees this afternoon. So as those kids head out this afternoon or this morning for that bus stop, will still be pretty cold, but those temperatures are going to warm up just a little bit as a result of that sun peeking out a little bit more and the winds calming down just a little bit. So here's what we're tracking: windy and chilly morning ahead of us, but we're also going to see a calm, mild weekend ahead. I'll have the details on that, as well as a chance for rain on Christmas Eve. I've got that updated forecast for you coming up.
All right, we'll see you soon, Chloe. Thanks. Well, Joplin's Freeman Auxiliary continued an annual Christmas tradition yesterday. Group members delivered armloads of gifts to place below the Christmas tree at the Ronald McDonald House of the Four States. Now, the gifts will brighten the holidays for the 7 families temporarily staying there. And the Cherryvale Public Library accepted donations to help out less fortunate children. Now, children could pick out one toy from the donations, give it to a family member. Now, there were people there at the library to help wrap the presents just in time for Christmas.
It's really cool that the kids get to come and pick out for their families because, you know, they might not get that experience elsewhere. And so for them to be able to do that with completely free donations and, you know, not have to pay for it, it's been a pretty cool experience.
The children also partook in various activities like creating candy canes out of pipe cleaners, and they were given free books. Well, to be the first to see breaking news, weather, and sports, you can download the KOAM News app. It's available free of charge in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. Just search for the KOAM News app. Well, as the holidays approach, so does the snacks and the lounging around the house, and with that often comes weight gain. And Missouri is currently ranked 16th in the nation for obesity, with 36% of the state's population classified as obese, meaning they have a body mass index higher than 30. KOAM's Lonnie Walton stopped by a local gym to hear from some experts as they weigh in.
I think the most important thing is consistency.
Sarah Watson is the manager and personal trainer of Cola Fitness. While the CDC recommends 150 minutes of moderate exercise a week, Watson says exercise is truly important, but she says you have to be mentally strong first to achieve that outcome.
A lot of people will have, tips, tricks on what to do as far as workouts, diet, but consistency, I believe, is the most important thing.
Trainer Kelsey Smith says the gym is wide open for everyone, especially those who don't want to brave the cold.
Machines can help you pretty much target any muscle group that you're needing. It's great for beginners.
Although hitting the gym is good for you, if you're not eating healthy, you're at a loss.
This is Kathy Emick, a dietitian from Nutrition Lane in Pittsburgh. She says weight loss is 80% nutrition and 20% workout. One way she achieves this is through her homemade shakes.
Kathy says shakes can be another alternative for you because it's nutrition in a cup.
And they've got a good balance of fats and all the micronutrients, vitamins, minerals that you need too, that you would get in a 2,000 calorie meal, but without all the calories.
Both Watson and Smith says to lose those last few pounds, sometimes it takes a community.
It is important, I think, to get into the atmosphere and the environment to work out.
Just being with a community.
Reporting in Joplin, I'm Lonnie Walton, KOAM News.
Well, the CDC also says you should be mindful of what you consume to prevent overconsumption. And those are our top news stories this half hour. Coming up next, we'll hear a few tips on how to keep your poinsettias looking beautiful this season. And later we'll hear how an organization in Oklahoma is working to ensure that everyone will have a holiday meal. You're watching the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. We'll be right back. But first, here's a live look from the Carthage City Square. Welcome back. Kenny Dotson from the Kansas State Research and Extension Office is with us this morning and gets a few tips on how to keep your poinsettias looking nice and beautiful like this one here. Welcome to you, Kenny. Thank you so much for being with us. Now, you are a new face to us. You are new to the Kansas State Research and Extension Office. Talk to me a little bit about who you are and your role there at the office.
Well, I'm a Coffeyville native. I grew up in Southeast Kansas all my life. I went to K-State University, so it's a pretty good fit for this job, I think. I got a bachelor's degree in horticulture science with a minor in plant pathology. So I think of that basically like a plant health degree. I know a little bit how to grow, and I know a lot about how to diagnose and figure out the issues that are going on with them.
Absolutely. So talk to me about why it's so important, you know, coming from your expertise on how to keep our plants healthy, how to keep them continuing to grow, and really reaching out to the resources that you guys have there at the Kansas State Research and Extension Office.
I love plant health because just like your bodily health, your human health, it's always important to keep your plants stress-free and as healthy as possible. And that means feeding them with nutrients. That means keeping them watered, because if you go a while without water, you'll start to shrivel up too. K-State offers plenty of services. We have an office in every single county of Kansas, all 105. There's an extension office near you, so reach out. We can offer soil testing for nutrition recommendations, and we can also just check out your plants for free. Try to keep your questions short and brief, because some offices have a lot more people than I do.
Right, absolutely. And speaking of plant health, specifically with the holiday season comes poinsettias, beautiful, beautiful poinsettias. Talk to me a little bit about how people can keep them looking fresh for Christmas time and then afterwards as well.
They are not native to Kansas, believe it or not. We don't see these in our landscapes typically. They are native to Mexico and the Central America region. So keep them warm, around 70 degrees or so. Generally, you'll keep that in a window or a warm corner of the house. And they don't like to be soggy. They'd rather dry out than be soggy. And actually, these lovely foil containers that they come in that look great hold a lot of water. And a lot of people with their houseplants also keep that tray that holds a lot of water. And so typically homeowners will overwater when they think their plant looks bad. So don't keep them soggy.
Absolutely. And if people want to find out more information on how to either keep their poinsettias or any other plants in their house, in their yard, safe and healthy, where can they go to get that information?
Go to your local extension office. There's one in every single county. The Altamont office that I am based out of in Labette County is 620-784-5337.
All right, wonderful. Well, thank you so much for being with us, Kenny. Happy to have you here. Welcome, and stick around. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to the KUAM Morning News. We're still seeing those winds begin to ramp up this morning. So if you got that morning commute, or as the kiddos are heading out to class this morning, really keep that in mind. Our winds are sustained anywhere from 10 to 15 miles per hour across the 4 states. So our winds are coming out of the north as well, which is keeping us relatively cool. Now, earlier today, we've had wind gusts upwards of 35 to 40 miles per hour. And around 8 a.m. today, we're going to see those wind gusts upwards of 30 miles per hour anywhere between now and 8 o'clock. And then lunchtime, we'll see that around 20 miles per hour for our wind gusts. And then we'll start to calm down this afternoon. So it's really just the morning to focus on. And that will also come with a cold front that's pushing through, those northerly winds pushing in a colder air. And behind this cold front, we'll see temperatures in the 30s. And it's also cooling down our temperatures in southwestern Missouri, parts of northeastern Oklahoma and northwestern Arkansas as well. They're in the 40s. They're soon going to dip down into the 30s as well. But briefly before we warm up for our afternoon high. But with those colder temperatures as well as the wind gusts, we have our feel-like temperatures feeling like the teens for some folks in northwestern counties of the 4 states. Iola and Yates Center feeling like 19 and 18 degrees outside. So feeling like the teens for quite a few folks. And then this afternoon, even then, our feel like temperatures are still going to feel like we're in the 20s to lower 30s. So make sure you're bundling up all throughout the afternoon. Now, luckily, aside from the wind and the colder temperatures, we're not going to have much in terms of precipitation. So we'll still have some sunshine out today. For the bus stop forecast, we've got temperatures in the 30s. Again, those winds are still going to ramp up as those kids head off to the school bus this morning, but as they are heading home today, our temperatures are going to warm up into the 40s, so not warming up much from here compared to what we've seen the past couple of days. We've been pretty above average for the month of December, with a lot of our highs being in the 50s and even in the 60s. Today, not that case. A little bit more on the average side for our highs today in the mid 40s, and even for Joplin, our high 45 degrees today. We'll have some decreasing clouds throughout the day. They'll begin to dissipate really past 2 p.m. and beyond, and even into tonight we'll have some decreasing clouds as well, or lows in the 30s. Now for the long range forecast, we're going to be pretty calm over the next few days. In fact, throughout the weekend as well, we'll be pretty sunny as a ridge begins to set in off to the west. That's really going to affect our pattern off into the central plains. That's going to keep us calm, cool, and collected this week with temperatures really in the 40s. So very seasonable for your weekend. However, we're going to warm right back up, and we'll see some rain chances on Monday night into Tuesday morning for your Christmas Eve. So really keep that in mind over the next couple of days as you have your travel plans on Monday and even into Tuesday for your Christmas plans. Now over the 10-day forecast, we're going to be pretty calm over the next couple of days. Friday, your high 39, a very calm and mild week. Saturday and Sunday in the 40s and 50s before we warm up next week, 61 degrees the day after Christmas Day. Stick around.
The Chickasaw Nation and nonprofit Feed the Children partnered for their 9th annual No Hunger Holidays at the Love Country Fairgrounds last Thursday.
Jury Vaughn says they are supporting 800 Love County families just in time for the holidays.
In the state of Oklahoma, 1 in 4 children are food insecure. They sometimes don't know where their next meal comes from.
Joyce Standridge with the Chickasaw Nation says the 9th annual No Hunger Holidays is part of a collaborative effort to cut down on food insecurity across the state by giving a boost to families in need.
What we really hope is to ease the stress and be able to relieve some of that financial constraint for our families, and then just being able to provide that. It's a special blessing.
Dozens of volunteers work to distribute 2,400 food boxes filled with personal care items, toys, and more, just in time for the holidays.
We're giving away 5 pairs of socks, 3 ready-to-eat Heavenly Harvest meals. We're actually giving away 1 to 2 Disney books, and then 2 toys for kids.
A deadly EF4 tornado struck Marietta back in April, wiping out the only grocery store in town. And the loss of jobs in the aftermath left many families needing extra help this holiday season.
They lost their grocery store and they are still recovering, and so we thought this was the perfect location to help the general community and serve families that would benefit from our food drive today.
It's also part of a larger goal for Oklahoma City-based nonprofit Feed the Children, who is working to provide 10 million meals to families in need nationwide.
With the holiday season, budgets are very tight for families, and so with that, we want to be cognizant of that and support families any way that we can.
Well, it's certainly great to see that. I mean, everyone needs a nice meal to have on the holidays. So those organizations that are working to ensure that is great to see.
Absolutely. It really is the giving season. And so that seeing all of that is just a prime example of that. It's beautiful to see.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Well, coming up, Luigi Mangione is facing life in prison for the murder of CEO Brian Thompson. We'll have the latest on that.
Plus, we still have more weather to talk about. I'll tell you when those roller coaster temperatures continue.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. The time now is 7:28. I'm Elise Snowy. Joplin area Catholic schools released details about an upcoming series that aims to educate the area. Now it's dubbed Past, Present, and Future. The series discusses Joplin's rich Catholic history while highlighting the important values of why the Catholic schools were established in Joplin.
So the Sisters of Mercy were very much focused on serving the poor. So they wanted to make sure that students here in the Joplin community were afforded an opportunity to receive a Catholic education, focused on the faith aspect and serving those in the community around them. So that same mission sticks with us today. We want to make sure that the Catholic education is an opportunity for students in our community, and we'll make sure that that continues into the future.
Now, Jax has a series of sessions planned in January, which concludes with a bus tour led by Mercy Hospital President Jeremy Drinkwitz. Well, a lot of effort goes into getting toys to the families who need them, and we couldn't do this by ourselves. Now, every year we lean on the support of our community partners like the staff at Bishop and Hayes in Joplin for Toy Box. Now, for them, the effort is certainly worth it.
Well, I would encourage everyone to donate to the Toy Box campaign because it benefits local kids. And the money that you donate goes right to the very county in which you live. And so, if you want to help kids in your community, the KOM Toy Box is a great way to do that.
Now, we want to thank all of our partners that made our Toy Box campaign possible. And as we mentioned, we partner with a lot of businesses and charitable organizations to make the Toy Box project a success. Now, those include the folks at Miss Daisy's in Joplin who helped with shopping to make sure your donations are spent wisely. KOM photojournalist Ty Parks gives us a look.
This year we shopped for kids from the Angel Tree for Salvation Army, and I was kind of nervous that we were going to have to choose from a list, and it was great. It was so fun having that individual person to shop for. I think it just has a little bit more meaning. I mean, it's all great. We love shopping for the kids, but knowing that this is going to somebody who really wants it, and this is the item they were specifically asking for, just meant a lot more to us. I feel like this is a lot of fun, and it's just a way for us to give back to the community. And who doesn't love shopping for toys, especially kids that need them and want them, and just to see that joy. Well, we don't get to see the joy, but I wish we could. This is the best. I love it. I love that getting to spend time with families. I think it makes people a little cheerier and maybe nicer. It's just, just the whole spirit of this season. We totally enjoy. We love the customers that come into the store and are just excited to find that perfect gift for somebody. I feel like that's what we were doing today, is finding that perfect gift for a kid in need. My favorite part is just being around my family. Honestly, gift giving, I stress out with gift giving. So this makes it even more fun for me because the pressure is a little bit lower, but still going to somebody who I know will enjoy it.
You'll be able to rewatch and share that video along with others. Just go to our website, that's KOAMnewsnow.com. And that's a look at some of our top stories. Let's check in with Chloe for a quick look at the forecast.
Yeah, well, this morning we're still continuing to see those winds sustain anywhere from 10 to 15 miles per hour, that northerly wind keeping us on the chilly side this morning. So as you're heading out this morning, make sure you're bundling up and preparing yourself for that wind. Now, this afternoon, we'll start to see it calm down into wind gusts upwards of 20 around lunchtime, and then this afternoon will begin to calm down. But right now, we're seeing wind gusts anywhere from 30 to 35 miles per hour. So really keep that in mind. We have a cold front also pushing through the 4 states right now. It's moving south, and as it continues to truck along south, we're going to see those temperatures that are still in the 40s eventually dip down into the 30s briefly but surely in the next hour or two before we warm up eventually to our high this afternoon. Now, with those colder temperatures as well as the wind gusts, we're still going to have our feel-like temperatures in the teens to 20s and lower 30s for a couple of folks across the 4 states. So Yates Center, Iola feeling like the upper teens, and even this afternoon we'll feel like the 20s and even the lower 30s. So a chilly morning ahead of us indeed. Coming up in a bit, we're going to talk more about the weather pattern this week. We'll have calmer conditions at the end of this week. I'll tell you how long that lasts, as well as your Christmas Eve and Christmas Day forecast. We've got some rain in the future. I'll have all the details coming up.
All right, thanks, Chloe. Well, Luigi Mangione, the man accused of killing United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson, now faces life in prison after getting indicted in New York City. Investigators are calling the brazen murder an act of terrorism. Fox News correspondent Connor Hansen has more from New York.
Suspected killer Luigi Mangione is facing a charge of first-degree murder. Prosecutors now claiming the killing was done in furtherance of terrorism. DA Alvin Bragg says the killing of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson in Midtown Manhattan was meant to shock and intimidate.
The intent was to sow terror.
Mangione faces several other charges like having an illegal ghost gun. The DA says prohibiting those kinds of weapons is a priority. The high-profile murder brought widespread attention and even praise from people online who share frustrations with the healthcare industry. Fake wanted posters were even put up around the city with photos of other CEOs. New York's police commissioner scolded that behavior, calling it appalling.
We don't celebrate murders and we don't lionize the killing of anyone. And any attempt to rationalize this is vile, reckless, and offensive to our deeply held principles of justice.
And new details from detectives who spoke to Mangione's mother shortly before the 26-year-old Ivy League grad was captured.
They had a conversation where she didn't indicate that it was her son in the photograph, but she said it might be something that she could see him doing.
Mangione will be back in a Pennsylvania courtroom Thursday for an extradition hearing. DA Bragg says it's possible the suspect could be returned to New York shortly after. In New York, Connor Hansen, Fox News.
And that's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. A group in England is spreading holiday cheer for all to hear, not by singing, but by knitting. We'll be right back, but before we head to break, here's a live look from the Carthage City Square. In Consumer Watch this morning, well, two of Japan's biggest car makers are reportedly exploring the idea of joining forces. Now, according to reports, Honda and Nissan are in talks about a possible merger or other future collaborative ideas. Now, this comes as both automakers face challenges from China, especially with electric vehicles. Now, a merger would allow the companies to collaborate more on technology development. Now, a merger between Honda and Nissan would make the company the world's third largest auto group by vehicle sales behind Toyota and Volkswagen. Well, Salesforce announced it will hire 2,000 people to sell AI products. CEO Mark Benoff made the announcement at an event in San Francisco yesterday. The company previously said it planned to onboard half the amount of staff a month ago. Salesforce hopes to boost revenue with generative artificial intelligence features. And the second generation of the company's AI agent software is expected to be available to customers in just 2 months. And the U.S. Department of Transportation issues a new rule that requires airlines to meet stricter assistance standards for passengers with disabilities. It also mandates yearly hands-on training for employees to assist passengers with disabilities and their wheelchairs. Now, the training must be completed and received by June 17, 2026. A majority of airlines already offer pre-boarding or other service for travelers with disabilities, but many still face delays in mishandled wheelchairs. Oh, we're a week away from Christmas and shipping operations are in overdrive, working to make sure packages get to the right place. Now, Fox News multimedia reporter Oliviana Calms is at the FedEx Memphis World Hub, where millions of packages are shipped around the world every day.
They call it the Super Bowl of shipping. They've been prepping year-round for this busy global holiday rush. And here at the Memphis facility, they have a building now fully automated that's helping streamline it even more.
As we get closer to Christmas, we expect to see over 2 million on a few nights. It takes a lot to deliver Christmas to the world, which is what we're doing here in December.
The Memphis FedEx Hub has a flurry of activity, about 7,000 employees there nightly, picking up packages, sorting them, and sending them off to their destination.
They get picked up or they get dropped off they'll go to an airport, they'll fly here to this hub or one of our other hubs. Then we'll see they get unloaded from the aircraft, we'll induct them into the sort system, we'll sort them, and then we'll sort of do it in reverse.
Walter Kirkemine, the senior operations manager, says their new automated facility is helping. This is the first peak season using it. The newer automated machines help sort over 50,000 pieces of mail per hour. Then packages are loaded onto a plane. All the flights are carefully planned out in the Global Operations Control Center.
In here we've got meteorologists, we've got aircraft dispatchers, we've got service recovery specialists. The meteorologists are helping us with weather, identifying impacts, areas that we need to focus on.
3 to 4 million packages fly out each day, and their ground deliveries total up to 15 million. So details matter.
This is our asset tracker, and what we're looking at is basically 7 days worth of flying.
This year, they're on track for how many packages they expected, maybe even more.
I think we're a little above our forecast, which is probably a little growth, but we're ready for whatever comes our way.
With just days left until Christmas, they recommend getting those packages shipped as soon as possible. In Memphis, Tennessee, Oliviana Kelmes, Fox News.
And those are our top consumer stories. Let's take a look at the market prices before the opening bell.
Well, welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. We're still tracking those winds. They're starting to ramp up this morning, so if you got that morning commute, really keep that in mind, especially if the kids are outside waiting at that bus stop this morning. Really hold on to your hats as we head into the morning hours. Right now, we're still wind gusts sustained consistently anywhere from 10 to 15 miles per hour. Yates Center consistently 18 miles per hour winds right now, and our wind gusts upwards of 30 to 35 miles per hour. Now this afternoon or early afternoon around lunchtime, we'll see our winds still pretty significant, upwards of 20 miles per hour before we start to slowly but surely dissipate those winds this afternoon into the evening. 8 p.m. will be relatively calm. Now our temperatures are still trying to calm down or cool down a little bit this morning. Some folks still haven't reached their low quite yet for this low today. So our cold front is really pushing off to the south as our northerly wind is continuing to bring in colder air, and beyond that, behind that cold front, we have temperatures in the lower to mid 30s, and so we're going to still continue to see those temperatures a little further south decline just over the next hour or two before we start to increase in our temperature towards our high this afternoon. Now our feel like temperatures are feeling like the teens right now. It feels like 16 in Iola. It's going to feel like 16 in Iola around 9 a.m. this morning, so really keep that in mind when you have that feel like temperature. It's really a mix between that actual temperature and what the winds are, and the more winds you have, the colder the temperatures are going to feel like because it's blowing around even more. So even in the afternoon, it's going to feel like the 20s to 30s this afternoon. This is around 5 p.m. today. Now for your bus stop forecast, like I said, we're going to be cold as the kiddos are heading off to school in the morning. 30 degrees or 39 degrees for that matter. When in the morning, we'll still have those gusts upwards of 35 miles per hour. Then our winds are going to calm down into this afternoon as they're heading back, and our temperatures are going to be in the 40s this afternoon. 45 degrees for your high here in Joplin. We'll have some decreasing clouds as we head into the afternoon, and even into the evening we'll see a decreasing trend in those clouds before we clear out completely later on tonight. Now tracking out the rest of your week, we'll have a calming pattern into this week. Off to our west, we'll see a ridge set in, and even into the central plains that'll affect our weather or the lack thereof into this week and the weekend. So very calm, but a little on the chillier side. So then next week we'll switch our pattern up a little bit. We'll see a trough begin to reach through, and that will bring our next chance for rainfall. This is Monday night into Tuesday morning, so we'll continue to track that for your Christmas Eve plans. Here's a look at your 7-day forecast. Like I said, we'll be calm at the end of this week, but kind of chilly Friday, 39 degrees for your high. Saturday and Sunday will be about seasonal average for this time of year, 45 degrees on Saturday and 50 degrees on Sunday. And then leading into Christmas Eve, we've got that chance for showers, as well as another system that that we're tracking 2 days after Christmas Day. Stick around.
Well, traditions are big this time of year, and a rather cheerful one is catching on across the pond.
And it's turning heads and warming hearts, as Tina Kraus shows us.
There's a flurry of festivity unfolding across the UK, with close-knit groups of volunteers putting their hands together to deliver holiday cheer.
You get a real kick out of this, don't you? Oh, we do. I mean, we do out of life anyhow. We're very positive people, I think.
They're dressing up Britain's iconic red mailboxes with hundreds of dazzling designs.
And they're absolutely gorgeous.
It's a creative craze catching on in dozens of cities. Colorful toppers weaving threads of cheer into everyday life.
Why choose the famous red mailboxes to put these on? I think it's because they've got a lovely lip to them, so you can attach them to it's like a hat, isn't it? It's like you're putting a hat on them.
They wear hundreds of different hats, depending on the occasion.
I just think it's magic for children to come along and look at it.
Always dressed to impress, especially when it's for the royal family.
Because normally you'd be at home knitting crochet, maybe for family, maybe for friends, maybe for a charity. But where would you get a chance to make the king, the queen, a horse?
The year-round fun culminates around Christmas, as another twinkling topper is carefully put in place.
Hold it tight, Joe.
What do you think of the topper?
I like the Christmas tree and the presents because they're different shapes and sizes.
Giving the gift of wonder in a world that can always use a little more magic.
Oh, I just love that.
Yes, how adorable are all those little ones, and especially during Christmas time, there's different, I'm sure, traditions or little things that they can include on those toppers to make them not only unique to themselves, but the area too. It's
Yes.
awesome to see.
Very much indeed. And I was looking at the skill that people have with
I know,
crocheting and
right?
knitting. Like I saw so many like little intricate things. We were talking during the package that we both love to do knitting and crocheting, but I can't
More
do
of a
anything
novice,
that hard.
not like exactly.
Yeah, I
as-
can do
as
like a little
great as they were.
placemat.
Right.
That's the little square. That's about it. All right, well, let's take another check of the weather going on right now. So we've got for your afternoon, once we calm down in terms of the winds today, we're going to have relatively calm conditions this afternoon. Our temperatures are going to decrease later on this evening into the 30s, and then eventually we're going to see even cooler temperatures at the end of this week, but very much calm temperatures indeed. Here's a look at your 7-day forecast as we'll see those calm conditions and then a chance for showers leading in to your Christmas Eve.
Here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. Missouri is ranked the 16th worst in the nation for obesity, with 36% of the state's population classified as obese. Now, Jasper County is at the state average, but neighboring Newton and McDonald counties rank a little worse than average. Now, the CDC recommends 150 minutes of exercise a week, as well as eating a balanced diet to control weight gain. The Cherryville, Kansas Public Library got in on the season of giving. Yesterday, the library accepted donated toys for less fortunate children in the community. And kiddos could pick out one toy from the donations and give it to a family member. Now, the children also partook in various activities and were given some free books. Well, Joplin's Freeman Auxiliary continued an annual Christmas tradition yesterday. Group members delivered armloads of gifts to place below the Christmas tree at the Ronald McDonald House of the Four States. Now, the gifts will brighten the holidays for the 7 families temporarily staying there.
And once our winds calm down this evening or this afternoon, this evening will be much calmer in terms of winds, and any conditions in general will have mostly clear skies, and our temperatures are going to dip down into the 30s, 30 degrees for your low tonight in Joplin. Here's the look at your 7-day forecast. We've got really calm conditions throughout the end of this week. Your high 49 degrees on Friday before we see a change in the weather pattern. We're going to warm up next week, unfortunately, for Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. Pretty warm, above average for this time of year, and a chance for showers on Christmas Eve.
All right. Well, for 20 years, residents living in Lima's Monte Umbroso Street have adorned the facades, balconies, and gardens of their homes with lights during Christmas. And now for a second year, the local government is crowning residents there with a Best Decoration Award.
The street decorations have become so well known that the people travel to see the displays. The prize-giving ceremony has cemented a tradition which was already drawing in tourists, with the winners getting a trophy for their efforts.
It's certainly fun.
That is
I
so
love
fun.
like Christmas decoration competitions. They're so cool to see, and people really go all out.
They really, really do. It surprises me every single year.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, thank you so much for letting us put the good in your morning. We'll be back with more news and weather at noon.
Have a great rest of your morning.